My manipulative boyfriend recently found out that his ex just got engaged and has not stopped literally crying since. I met my current boyfriend 3 years ago through some mutual friends. He was pretty guarded and very closed off from the start, and I was the one that pursued him. Throughout the first 2 years we lived separate but made a decision to move in together into his house last year. My boyfriend has only had one other relationship before me. He kept in touch with his ex until she cut contact with him around 2 years ago, which was 1 year into our relationship. He talked about her a lot to me, and I had to battle between my want to support him in grieving his old relationship as well as the fact I felt I was blatantly disrespected by this. He compared me to her a lot, which was something that hurt me a lot. What is very weird about it is that they dated when he was 15 and it lasted for around 6 months, and then she dumped him because he had no self-respect. Apparently she's the reason why my boyfriend is so guarded now. However, it has been 7 years since they have been a couple, and the fact he is still hung up on her really makes me question my future with him. I'll admit that I was really jealous of her and was glad when she cut contact with him, because my boyfriend talked about her as if she had all of life's answers. As a side note, she cut contact with him when he sent drunk threats to her boyfriend at the time. Anyway, 3 months ago I woke up in the middle of the night and I heard my boyfriend crying quietly. I could tell that he was looking at his phone, and I wasn't sure whether or not to say anything since I wasn't sure if he just wanted a private moment or not. After a while he got up to go to the bathroom, so I took a peek at his phone. He was on Facebook, looking at his ex's profile. She had gotten engaged and there were pictures of the ring. I felt very crappy in that moment. It was clear I was not his first choice and his reaction to her engagement hurt me a lot. It's been 3 months now, and my boyfriend has been breaking down out of nowhere every single day. Not a day goes by where he doesn't randomly start crying about it and asks me to console him. I keep asking him to talk to me about it, but he won't. I told him to talk to a therapist, and he got really insulted and said that he doesn't believe in therapy. I'm unsure of what to do, since this happens every day. I love him, but he's always seemed a bit distant to me and obviously this woman is the reason why. Should I contact her and ask her if she has any insight? My manipulative boyfriend recently found out that his ex just got engaged and has not stopped literally crying since. My relationship is over, at least I think. So these last 2 days have been really emotional. My boyfriend was gone all day yesterday. He was gone when I woke up but he still wasn't home when I went to bed. I texted him once when I woke up to say good morning, and twice at night, one asking if he was coming home for dinner, and another asking if he was alright. I also tried calling his cell, but he didn't pick up. I thought that I deserved some answers, so I decided to snoop, something that I've done once before when I was feeling insecure about his relationship with his ex. Well, on his laptop hidden in a bunch of subfolders was an MS document with his ex's name. I read it, and I'm assuming that he just saved the last conversation that he had with her, right before she cut contact with him. It started out normally, but then he asked how her relationship with her boyfriend was going. She said that it was good, and that she was happy. And then it got weird, because he said, "Really? Are you sure?" She said yes and said that was a weird question, and he said, "I don't know, I don't believe that you're that happy." He then told her that her boyfriend will never treat her as well as he did, and that they've known each other for many of years. They've managed to stay friends after their breakup, that they've helped each other grow as people and that she should really give him another chance. He said that he's waited for her all these years and that he loves her and always believed they'd wind up together. This was all while he was with me. She called him an a-hole and told him that he had a lot of nerves to say all that to her when she told him a long time ago that they're only ever going to be friends, and that he's an even bigger a-hole for doing this while they were both in relationships. She told him to go to hell and to break up with me for my sake, because I deserve better. As far as I'm aware, the drunk threat incident happened a few weeks later and that's when she completely severed ties with him. But all of this isn't even the worst part. My boyfriend woke me up this morning by calling me and telling me to come to the kitchen. He said that he made breakfast. So I go to the kitchen getting ready for a fight, and he made what honestly looked like an amazing breakfast. With a ring box in the middle of the table. He told me to open it and I did. He said something like, "These last 3 years with me has been an adventure and he hopes to keep making new adventures with me." I guess around this time I snapped out of whatever haze I've been in and I exploded. I demanded to know where he was all day yesterday, why he wouldn't contact me, why he's been crying over his ex for the last 3 months, as well as everything. He got mad at me for being mad. He told me that I should be happy because he was proposing, and asked me wasn't that what I wanted? I asked him why, when it's so obvious that he'd rather be with his ex. He told me that she's obviously moved on, so it's time for him to move on too. He stated that by marrying me, it's a sign to her that he is moving on. He literally stated that. I've never been so angry in my life. I've been so incredibly patient with this man and done my best to be understanding of his situation. I've literally given him all that I had, but I'm not going to get married to him just to be his consolation prize. It's so ironic because had he proposed 4 months earlier, I would have been ecstatic. Now it just broke our relationship. So, I called my dad and he's on his way now to help me move back in with him and my mom. That's it. I'm a wreck, but I think it's just because everything wrong and twisted in this relationship is hitting me and it took so long for me to understand. And my ex is just sitting on the couch with his laptop, still looking at a picture of his ex. Update 2. My manipulative boyfriend recently found out that his ex just got engaged and has not stopped literally crying since. So my ex went effing insane after I moved back home. I blocked him from essentially everything, changed all of my passwords and deactivated my Facebook, so he had no way of reaching me aside from literally driving to my parents' house to see me. Apparently he started sending messages to my friends asking to use their Skype accounts to talk to me. He told them that I stole some things from him when I moved out and he wanted them back. I got a few phone calls from my friends asking me about this. They told me that they knew that I didn't steal anything from him because that's not like me at all, but they wanted to know why he was so desperate to contact me. I wasn't ready to tell the whole story, so I told them that I didn't know what was going on, but asked them to not give them their Skype accounts by any means. A few days after that, the phone calls started. All from a few different numbers that I didn't recognize. I didn't pick any of them up, but one day I'd have about 20 missed calls from one number, then another 20 from a different number. I had to set my phone to only allow calls from specific numbers, otherwise it would go straight to my voicemail. Even if he couldn't reach me, he succeeded in making me feel pretty isolated. After the 5th day of the phone calls, I broke down and told my mom everything that happened. She didn't say much, she mostly let me talk. Afterward she told me that I made the right decision but that there's absolutely no reason why I should be going through this alone. She said that she didn't want to push me to tell her what happened until I was ready, but that the best thing that I could be doing right now is spending time with people that love and support me. So after going with me to get my phone number changed, she encouraged me to start calling my friends and telling them what happened, and to just hang out with them more in general. I had it stuck in my head that everyone would side with my ex and tell me that I made a terrible mistake, that his intentions were good, and I blew things out of proportion by insinuating that he only proposed because his ex-girlfriend got engaged. But I was actually overwhelmed by my friends' responses. Apparently my ex had been telling everyone that we broke up because I had major jealousy issues over his ex, but once they heard my side of the story, I was actually shocked by how many of them said that it made sense. They've all told me that I've done the right thing and that they'd back me up no matter what. I just felt this huge sense of relief and have been making an effort to go out more. I will be honest, though. There are times where I wonder if I was wrong. Sometimes I think that maybe my ex had been grieving over his old relationship and proposing to me was his way of starting over. Sometimes I think that I turned down the only marriage proposal that I'll ever get. And sometimes I think that maybe I should have accepted, because I loved him and you don't often find people that you truly love. But then on the days that I'm feeling wiser, I remind myself of how bizarre our last few weeks together were, how I always knew deep down that I was second best for him, and how he's been behaving since we broke up. I've never seen him so unstable.